Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. And today, what I want to talk about is the New York Giants, but I have a little bit of a topic about Drew Brees to begin the video, because it really has to do with Tom Brady's effect on the league, man. Drew Brees wants to come back. He wants to. He had to crack ribs or whatever. He has his beautiful wife. I recommend retiring. It's kind of one of those things, Alex Smith, just retire, please. We don't want to see you, you kind of overstayed your welcome a little bit. Let's welcome in the new generation. And I think the Saints are gonna be like, hey, listen, we don't have to pay you. And we kind of want to move on to Taysom Hill, see what he really has. We had a little bit of a glimpse of it. Maybe bring Jameis Winston back. We have our own problems we're dealing with. Please don't throw another wrench into it. The whole anthem thing this year is enough. I don't think the anthem had a big deal with it. But where else could he join? Is it I was thinking about this for a couple minutes. I dedicate my whole day to this. Sometimes I dedicate myself a whole day to a certain topic. But the only teams I can come up with, if you scan AFC North, NFC North, is the Denver Broncos and the Dallas Cowboys, maybe, with the Bears, maybe, but it's a windy city. Everywhere else has a quarterback. The Ravens, the Steelers, but everywhere else has a quarterback. He's not going to want to go in Miami, or he can't go to the Chargers. And Denver's in a division with Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, and Patrick Mahomes. You're going to be the worst quarterback in that division. You went from the best quarterback pretty much to the worst in just 1 year. Well, 2 years, I guess. But, Drew Brees, it has to be it, right? I mean, maybe you can take this year off and do I don't want to say a Peyton Manning thing because he got injured, but you can do that one gap year where just now I'm back. I think that's the best option here because I don't think his arm talent's going to fall off that much, and I think he needs a year to just be healthy, to train, and then come back and say, hey, I'm going to, with the contender, get a better team. Join the Colts, kind of like what Phillip Rivers did if the Carson Wentz things end up not working out. Maybe do that. I came out the video saying why Drew Brees should play for the Indianapolis Colts. I'm like, well, the Saints need to move on. And they ended up signing him to a 2-year extension, which I think was the right decision in the end of it. But Drew Brees, man, with Tom Brady, he's influencing the Giants, how they're doing their rebuild. He's influencing everybody. Even Russell Wilson's complaining now because he's like, I need an offensive line like Tom Brady. But people don't realize what Tom Brady does off the field. They don't realize that what he does is get the ball out in 3.2 seconds. And Drew Brees thinks he has the arm strength as Tom Brady, but he doesn't. he does not. And Drew Brees never was the arm strength guy, but it's really fallen off. He has to put his entire body into throws. Tom Brady sometimes throws it a little bit too fast. Yeah, Tom Brady still has that arm strength. Maybe his arm falls off 1%. But it's really just negligible based on his ability. It really is. I mean, people said that one play against the Steelers, remember he tried to throw it out of bounds? That's just a hard throw to make. It was I think it was the first game last year? That interception, or maybe that 2 years ago towards the end of the season where he threw that pick. He was trying to get out of bounds. He couldn't quite make it out of bounds. But the point is, Tom Brady is having a really wide impact. Bill Belichick coaching. And he's 43 years old. He is revolutionizing this league. And it's crazy to see. But the next thing I want to talk about is KVN, Kentucky Visual Network. Now, Kyle Van Noy, he's a guy that I wanted for my Giants last year. He said go Giants on the Pat McAfee show last year. I think he had 69 tackles, 14 games, 6 pass deflections, a couple of sacks. He was dealing with a hip injury, and I think he will be really good for the Giants. Now, as far as scheme fit, I'm not too sure. Now, when I first started this YouTube thing, I didn't know what a 3-4 defense was, but over the 2 years, I've gotten to know football a little bit better. Just a little bit. I'm not saying I know everything, like nickel defenses, dime defenses. I think he works well in an outside linebacker, even inside linebacker role. I don't think Blake Martinez, he wants to be a Giant for life, but I'm like, I may make it. This is one of my thoughts. I don't think we're going to make him a Giant for life. I don't think he's that good. I think he relies a lot on Dalvin Thomas and Leonard Williams to clog up those holes, and he did have a lot of missed tackles. He doesn't have that burst, that speed. He had a good season. But it's not like I'm not saying he's a top 5 linebacker in the league. I'm not saying that. He's probably 10th. But, yeah, so you have Kyle Van Noy and Blake Martinez, and then you have Tate Crowder. I mean, that linebacking core is pretty much solved. You'll be spending probably $20 million on linebacking core, 10 on Blake, 8 on Kyle Van Noy, and then 2 on Tate Crowder. And then also you have the guys that are considered outside linebackers like Lorenzo Carter, who on that defensive line. Switch to a 4-3. Why not switch to kind of Patrick Graham is kind of unique and versatile, right? If you have Kyle, then Blake, and then Tay on the defense, on that linebacking core. Then you'll have Dexter, BJ Hill rotation, and then maybe draft a defensive end, and all of a sudden you can kind of work a little bit of a 4-3. I know it's not really modern NFL, but I think you'll just have a lot of pieces here, and Patrick Graham's going to figure out, he says it, I'm going to figure out a way to make it work. I don't care who you bring in, but let's just bring in good players. Because if we have good players, I'm going to make the scheme work. Now, with our cornerbacks, they say you need 5 cornerbacks in order for that thing to work, communicate well. That's why the Patriots are so good, because all their cornerbacks communicated. So maybe focus a little bit more resources towards that. But Kyle Van Noy, baby, he said go Giants. He's a Giants fan. It feels like it was like a match made in heaven. But I'm just excited because it feels like the Giants are making smart moves, or not smart moves. I don't know why I said that, but they're making good coaching hires. I am worried a little bit about the turnover. Not like the practicality, like, the offensive linemen really struggled because they had so many voices in the room. I'm talking about, we fired Mark Colombo. I mean, what's going on here? Joe Judge wants to have a lot of opinions in the room, but it could be a little bit of a problem. There are positives and negatives because all of a sudden, everything's great when you're all bouncing ideas off each other. I don't really agree with that. And the guy's like, no, but I say this. And then you're kind of laughing. And then you start losing. It all is working when you're winning. And when you start losing, we didn't even win this year, but when you start losing, you have difference of opinions. One guy's like, no, I think you're doing the wrong thing. I'm doing the right thing. And then a bunch of egos come. So it's a little bit of a treacherous path to walk on. But yeah, and I'll just do my Anthony's draft opinion tracker. Kind of where I'm sitting at the moment. Love Rashad Bateman. I was on him 2 weeks ago. It feels like everyone's like, I was on him 2 weeks ago. No, I was on him. I'm like, number 11, I don't even mind not trading back because I'm like, if you just select a good player, I'm not going to mind it. 4.39, same speed as Darius Slayton. But, there's football speed. There's how do you run in pads. It confirms what we saw in film. It confirms what we saw in film. He's not amazing. I think he's better than a Terrence Marshall. We really hype up Terrence Marshall. I think he's a tier 2 by himself. Now, I have Devontae Smith. I'm moving him back in my rankings. I just don't think he's that crisp a route runner. He just jumps up and goes to catch it. I think that you'll have defensive backs that are going to kind of out-physical him. I don't really love Devontae Smith as much as I did. I'd almost rather Rashad Bateman over him because he's like, okay, I can kind of trust him longer term. He's been the number 1 wide receiver for a while. He's had that prowess, but I'm not saying Devontae Smith sucks. I'm saying Rashad Bateman I trust a little bit more than Rashad Bateman. And, what you guys get what I'm saying. And as far as round 2, it all depends what we do in free agency, honestly. It's really hard to say at this moment. I'm kind of moving off a Jason Owe, who I really would like. I just think that he's developing too much. Like, is he going to be good in the run game? I'm not too sure about that. He's a little bit too raw of a prospect for me. In round 2, I'm probably going guard. Like, do the Will Hernandez treatment. Wide receiver round 1, Will Hernandez treatment in the second round. Wyatt Davis, I'm not too crazy about him. Like a Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, like just an interior big dude to compete. And then round 3, defensive tackle, because we know we're going to lose Dalvin Tomlinson. That's where I'm sitting at now. Wide receiver, again, it all depends on what we do in free agency. Wide receiver now, you have Kyle Van Noy. Man, if we can get the money to work out, this is going to be a scary team. Let's go Big Blue. Let's go Giants. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video. See you.